confidence it is going to work is I still believe you have very talented players on this roster. I think last year was an awful year for this Eagles offensive line. I sure as hell hope a couple of trips to Medellin really gets these guys healthy again on that offensive line. You've drafted some in the offensive line there with a guy like Markel Bell, who was playing at right tackle without Lane Johnson being there yesterday. And I still think Devontae Smith is one hell of a player. I love the Mekhi Lemon pick. I think that's a great pick. I'm really big on Eli Stowers, as I mentioned. And Dallas Goedert is still here. And if you're talking about a blocking tight end, Johnny Munt can throw shoulders into people and knock them on their ass. Like I like what he could bring to the table as far as a blocking tight end goes. So you could have a pass-catching tight end out there and a guy to throw that weight around as well. And I don't look at Saquon Barkley and see a guy who's cooked. I look at Saquon Barkley and I say, you have a guy who at 27 years old had 482 touches in the regular season and postseason combined. You have a guy now coming off now a year removed from that where his workload wasn't anything close to that the previous season. He should have a bounce back year. He even acknowledged it in his press conference. Of all the things in a long season, it's mentally draining when you're playing the 17-game regular season schedule and then you're playing through the playoffs and into the Super Bowl with the weekend in the middle where you're talking to everybody and their mother because you're the story. Then you got the parade and everything, which is great. You don't have the time to recover. Now he's got that, unfortunately, because last year was a bust. You have the time to recover this year. I'm confident because I know they still have talented players on this team. And I'm also confident for a guy we haven't even mentioned yet. Vic Fangio is going to give this offense some wiggle room. I don't see the defense getting their doors blown off where the offense has to score 40 points, right out of the gate in order to win football games. I think this defense, I think Vic Fangio is going to have another a core group with him that's going to help this offense keep their head above water as the season goes on. You're probably going to see the defense be the star of the show early as you wait for the offense to click into high gear.
Couple last questions there for you, Farzy. Is Jalen Hurts a starting quarterback in 2027?
Yes. I can't tell you in one breath, this is gonna be great. And oh, by the way, Jalen's gone next year. Like I look at this as the Eagles look at this system and Jalen Hurts, and I think they look at it and say, yeah, he can do this. If they didn't think he could do it, they're just wasting their time with Sean McVay being in here. Sean Mannion coming in here. They were wasting their time by even trying to knock on the door of a Mike McDaniels or knock on the door of a Brian Dable. They look at Sean Mannion and say, this guy he's got the know-how of the modern-day NFL offense that Jalen Hurts can fit into. And if we get Jalen Hurts to step out of his comfort zone in areas that he's pretty damn good at, we've talked about over the middle, we've talked about being under center, then we just tap into that with Jalen. We all of a sudden got a complete offense that people were thinking we couldn't run. And, oh, by the way, we might just have a pretty great run game to fall back on at the same time. Like, that to me is a successful year. And after a successful year, you're not telling your two-time conference, one-time Super Bowl champion quarterback to go kick rocks.
You think that Nick Sirianni's the head football coach in 27?
Yeah, if it's successful, they're not going to be like, hey, great deep playoff run. By the way, coach, you're fired. Like, I don't think that happens. Hey, we won another Super Bowl with this coach. You're fired. Like, I don't think that happens either.
If they get beat like they did in an opening round again,
then we're talking about it. Then we're talking about it. Yeah. The interesting thing, though, and I think you and I have kicked this around before.
You're going to fire a guy with that kind of success because he had a bad year?
If he wins or if he gets blown out in the playoff, I mean, it really depends on the optics of it as it all winds down.
Yeah, I think that was bad optics because that was a junior varsity 49er team that beat him.
Almost literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Is Nick Sirianni getting the job now if he comes in and he said, so forget about the accolades of the resume and all that. If Doug Peterson was just fired and they were going to Nick Sirianni and he goes, well, here's my plan. Number one, I don't call plays. Number two, we're going to need to have a coordinator that can call plays and knows how to run an offense because that's not me, obviously.
And I've never coached an RPO type of quarterback before. He ain't getting that job.
Is he getting that gig because he's emotionally intelligent? No, he's not. So that's the baffling thing. So when people talk about, are you going to fire him? Well, he stays and you hire another offensive coordinator. And what are you going to promote from within again? Are you going to try to keep Josh Grizzard here? Are you going to try to keep Jared Johnson here? Does Parks Frazier get elevated?
Parks Frazier, he's the guy.
Parks Frazier. The year he called plays was the Jeff Saturday year. And I think it was between him or whoever the hell the Colts mascot is, whatever that guy is, him or Parks Frazier calling plays. I think that's what it came down to. But yeah, I think it comes down to for this offense and Nick Sirianni, if the optics are similar to a 2023 or even close to what happened last year, I think that's where you're talking about starting over. And I know that might seem brash to some, but Jeffrey Lurie has what he believes to be a lot of talent on this team, and he loves this team, and he spends money for this team, obviously. I don't think he's going to be stomaching another year of Nick Sirianni. I think he wants to find a head coach that is the offense. So he's not naming his head coach's offense after other head coach's offense. I think that sticks in his crawl.
It just completely it blows my mind where they are right now, that you have this kind of success, and Jalen Hurts is. Do you think his reputation is on the line this year? Hurts.
I mean,
if he fumbles around a little bit at the beginning of the year. By the way, Farzy, 17 weeks last year, it never clicked. But this is going to click this year? In week what? 5? 6?
Well,
you think the Eagles are going to have that kind of patience to sit around for 7-8 weeks to wait for the Hurts-Mannion offense to click in? I mean, how long are you going to wait?
The one bad thing here is that your bye week is what, week 10?
Yes.
You don't have the week 5 bye week like you did in 2024, where they could be like, all right, everyone, let's get in a meeting. Let's hash this out because this ain't working, that kind of thing. So it's really got to be fluid with this Eagles team. I think Jalen, I don't think Jalen's on any kind of short leash here.
Okay.
Like, how does it benefit the Eagles to put him on a short leash? What, is Andy Dalton going to come in and be the savior?
No.
Is Tanner McKee really going to be the guy?
Setting him up this year for success.
I do, because if they were setting him up for failure, they probably would have kept Kevin Patullo, and they would have made it work last year, because nobody was going to bang down Kevin Patullo's door and say, hey, you got a head coaching job after this. I don't think that was happening. I look at Jalen Hurts and I see a guy that can still figure this out. I think he could do all the things that they're saying. Oh, Jalen can do all the things. I think he can do all the things. We've seen him do it. It's just a matter of doing it for an extended period of time. I'm excited to see Jalen Hurts in this offense, because it is going to be a pass-fail type of situation, which is crazy to think about with a guy who's already been to 2 Super Bowls, but I think he passes that test.
Is this very Philly? John Tortorella tells you to go to hell, quit your hockey team, jumps aboard an A train out in Las Vegas, and he coasts in to the Stanley Cup Finals, and there's John Tortorella with a chance to become only the 8th coach in NHL Stanley Cup history to take over a team late in the year and win a Stanley Cup. And by the way, I would think whoever comes out of the East, I would still think the Vegas Knights are going to be the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. John Tortorella wins a cup. How Philly is that?
That is very Philly. The fact that they're doing it with Carter Hart, another former Flyer. Yeah, that's extremely Philly in all of that. Look, I really like John Tortorella. It made no sense to me that John Tortorella got hired for a rebuilding team, a team that was in their own process, if you will. And he was just about as entertaining as you would assume when he was going through that time. And then eventually it all came to a head exactly like most people thought it would come to a head, which was him telling the front office, yeah, this isn't working. You guys need to do this. You guys need to do that. And they're like, John, we explained this to you. See you later. And that was that. But it's very Philly, just like it's very Philly to be like, hey, you finally have a quarterback that is gone to the Super Bowl multiple times. He's the franchise quarterback. He's won. When do we get rid of him? Like, that to me is just like, I do a lot of local TV with Fox 29, and Alex Holly is their local morning host, along with Mike Jarek. And at the end, I think it was at the end of the year, she said, so are we done with the Jalen bashing, was the question. And I said, here's what I've noticed. Here's what I've learned. We'll never be done with quarterback bash. Like, we'll always want to bench the quarterback as a society. And if you go back and you listen to old tapes of, sports talk radio, or whatever, and they're talking about Randall, or they're talking about like Ty Detmer, they're talking about Bobby Hoying, they're talking about Donovan even. It's always the same. It's like, is he the guy? Is he the guy? Well, here's the guy. That's the guy. And then now there's people that are chomping at the bit to be like, yeah, but he sucks. I'm like, what? What is that? Anyway, that's where I'm at with all of it.
One last one. Ready?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts handling the by the way, one of the GOAT moves of all time for Jalen Hurts. Jalen, what about AJ? Puts it down. Yeah. There's your shot right there. There it is. To get you going. One of the GOAT moves of all time, by the way. And I love the fact he didn't answer the question, but he answered it the right way. You're never going to say anything about what our success has been here and what we've meant. And the ultimate troll was, yeah, I saw the pictures. They were really great. And I'm going like, okay, because he didn't show up to the wedding. That was a thing. I made a thing out of it too. But I got to tell you, man, I mean, him sitting there and answering the question like that, I thought that was really awesome. How do you think Donovan McNabb would have handled A.J. Brown in this story?
A series of really lame jokes. That's how I think he would have handled that. If it was AJ, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think it would have been a series of lame jokes from Donovan McNabb.
Hey, add this into this. What relationship has been more detrimental to a team's success? Because you got to figure if he's gone with AJ on your team, this coming back, you would think he'd give you more success on maybe potentially winning another Super Bowl and adding another Super Bowl appearance. Now you take this out. He's been to 2.
Yeah.
McNabb. Is it McNabb and T.O. or is it AJ and Hurts? Because you potentially are leaving championships on the table here.
Yeah, no, for me, it's really hard for me to say anything would ever top if McNabb and T.O. were best friends for like 3 years, or if they were bosom buddies. Like that, to me, they were so ahead of the game, and you saw what the Eagles were without Terrell Owens, and then you saw what they were with him. You saw the night and day difference, and it really just came down to personality. It came down to Donovan not going to bat for T.O., but then going to bat for Brian Westbrook. Like that to me is the end all be all, one of the biggest what ifs in all the history of Philadelphia sports. I think with AJ being like when T.O. was gone, it wasn't like
they left the Super Bowl on the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I do too.
Absolutely. I think they left. They quite possibly left 2 Super Bowls on the table.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, if they were great, if they were cool with each other for 2-3 more years, what could have been, man. But then again, if you say that, then you also have to say, would T.O. go to Dallas and always be cool with Tony Romo? No, like everywhere T.O. went, a problem followed. You know, it's almost like the James Harden syndrome. It's similar to that, you know, to reference another sport, obviously. But yeah, no, this is bad with AJ, but it was terrible with T.O. and Donovan. That's where I'll go with that.
Man, I think you left 2 Super Bowls on the table with Owens. You may have left another one on the table here. I mean, because you can't tell me your offense is going to be better without that guy. I mean, it's going to be at least different.
You know what it might be more of? Here's what I will tell you. And I think this is it might be more versatile. And right? you might only have one wide receiver with over 1,000 yards. Like we're used to 2 receivers with 1,000 yards. You know, we're used to a running back with over 1,000 yards. You might have Devontae Smith with like 1,300 yards. Then you might see Mekhi Lemon with 700. You might see Hollywood Brown with like 500. You might see 900 from Dallas Goedert. You know, I think it'll be more spread out, more versatile, but overall better. I like when you have guys that you know, like AJ and Devontae, that can just go up and punch people in the mouth and keep going. You know, it might be more versatile. It'll be more distributed than we've ever seen, if all this clicks into place. But as far as better, no, I don't think it'll be better.
Can it put the kids' feet and hands in cement? May I say that with due respect?
Yeah,
I'm I'm not playing Jimmy Hoffa here, but I mean, are you going to put the feet in the hands? I don't know where he is in the north end zone of the Meadowlands in the old stadium. I have no idea. I've never heard anything about it. So, I mean, what are we doing? I mean, feet and hands in the cement here with the kids?
Whatever gets the point across. No, it'll be initials and then probably hands. Initials and hands.
Initials and hands.
Yeah,
like the stars out there in Hollywood, just like that. All right,
just like it'll be just as nice too. Just as nice.
Farzy, thank you so much, man. I can't wait. I tell you what, I can't wait for this year. I cannot wait to see what this thing looks like.
Yeah,
I really have. Look, I think the defense. To your point, hearing Bond and Jordan Davis and all these guys talking, they're adding, they're putting on everything. The Eagles on offense, like, yeah, this is brand new. We got terminology over here. We're doing this. These guys over here on defense are like, Vic is juiced. He's got 2 more years, ready to rock with this guy.
Reverse aging.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a whole different vibe on that side of the ball, no?
He's reverse aging. Vic Fangio's reverse aging. I love that. I absolutely love, like, I had to make sure I heard it right, and I went back and I listened to it again. Jordan Davis, he might be keeping his new contract money like in his hair. Did you see how high his hair is? Like, that's clutch, and I'm jealous. Yes. But number 2, the other thing he said was he was talking about, first off, I've been saying his name wrong. I've been saying U.R. Bernard. Apparently it's U.R. Bernard. U.R. Bernard. The Nigerian. Yeah. Jordan Davis was talking about like helping him out. And he says what he's found himself doing is paying more attention to detail than he ever has. He goes, I thought I paid attention to detail of what I'm doing in what I'm doing. But with somebody next to me that's never done it, I find myself locking in even more, focusing in even more, paying attention to my detail even more, because I want to be perfect for the guy next to me trying to learn. Like, I'm an emotional man. I could cry over how beautiful that is.
Hey, do you know where he got that from? He got that from Clint Hurt.
That's true.
Okay, yeah. Because Clint Hurt, when you were at Miami, and when I was taught by Jim Burt, or I was taught by Eddie Matthews, or I was taught by Eddie Williams, or any of these other guys that played before us, they would come back and they would teach us. Jerome Brown and I would teach Russell Maryland and Cortez Kennedy. And Cortez Kennedy would teach Warren Sapp. And Warren Sapp, we'd all go down the lane because we thought it was our responsibility. If a kid came to you and went, hey, how do you play the 3 technique? Or how do you play this? And how do you play under your pads? I wasn't going to go out of my way, but if a kid came out of his way to come to me, I would always go out of my way. So, I mean, I think that comes down from Clint. I think that also comes from Vic. Because do you not agree that Vic Fangio, his influence on the linebacking core, I mean, Farzy, you and I talked about it. Prior to Vic getting here, that was a train wreck position. Now, it's the deepest position on their defense is their linebackers. Trotter looks great. He made Frankenstein, Zach Bond. I mean, this guy finds a special teams guy in New Orleans, and he turns him into a first-team All-Pro. This kid Munden looks like he might be a player too. Campbell's going to be a versatile guy where you can play him in coverage, and you can play him against the run, maybe a little more better than what they had with N'Kobe. I think they've got some of the greatest coaches that they have had since Jim Johnson and that defensive coaching staff. I think you guys get the best defensive coaching staff in football on that side of the ball. I mean, Bobby King, the linebacker coach, and Vic. I mean, those guys are great, and you lost Christian Parker. That's a great side of the football, man.
Yeah. I'm shocked that I'm blanking on. You just said his name. Bobby King. No. King, the linebackers coach.
Yeah, Bobby King.
Bobby King. Thank you. Yeah. I was shocked he didn't get a defensive coordinator interview anywhere.
He was recommended by Nick to Vic. I'll tell you, listen to this. I was in San Diego, and I used to go over to the complex all the time. Guess who was in the building? Sirianni was in the building, and Frank was the offensive coordinator. Do you know who the quarterback? You know who the linebacker coach was? It was Bobby King. He was with Chuck Pagano's brother, and Chuck Pagano's brother was the DC there, and the linebacker coach was Bobby King. Vic had never met him before. Vic had no idea who the hell Bobby King was.
Wow.
And Sirianni goes, look, I had a guy here, Chuck Pagano's brother. He coached him here. I got a great picture of all these guys together. I'm with him. And I'm like, Nick Sirianni was the guy that recommended Bobby King to be the linebacker coach to Vic Fangio. And that's how that guy landed in Philly.
Maybe Nick knows defense. No.
Hey, I'm just telling you, I agree. I don't know if those guys are going to be intact next year, Farzy. I'll say this, that I think Clint Hurt and Bobby King could be DCs next year somewhere else.
It's quite possible. They have another year like this. Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, after losing to Kobe Dean. Yeah, that's just more on an already impressive resume there for Bobby King. It's pretty impressive.
It really is. My friend, I will see you. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you again. I always appreciate you doing this for us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, brother. Take it easy, man.
You got it. That is Marc Farzetta, and I appreciate it.